This rugby preview is brought to you by Specsavers. I'm Jennifer Sanasie, you're watching News 24 Live, and welcome to our series of videos where we give you a glimpse into all of the South African rugby games. Sport 24 editor Garrin and chief writer Rob are joining me in studio to take us through the game that will be happening on Saturday. That's the Boks versus Scotland in PE. Hello guys.
Hi Jen.
Now lots of changes to the Boks team going into Saturday. Garrin, why don't you take me through some of them?
You know, there have been a lot of changes, but I, for one, am actually really excited by this team. You know, I've been calling for a long time now that these first line Boks get a rest. You know, they've played them into the ground. It's just something that South Africa are guilty, in my opinion, of doing, and they've done it for the last couple of years now. You look at Australia and New Zealand, our main opponents at the highest level, and they're more than happy to rest players, give them sabbaticals, give them a full 6 months even off at times. So we tend to choose the same old players over and over again. You know, there's the argument that you don't want to break with continuity, and they've got experience and all that, and the World Cup is 15 months away and all that sort of thing. But it's fantastic to build depth at the same time. You know, our hand has sort of been forced a little in that a whole bunch of our players have had to go back to France and the UK because this match falls outside the IRB test window. So there's not much we could have done about at least 7 of the players. But it's fantastic to see those like fringe players, if you like, get a chance at the highest level. You know, I'm particularly excited to see Handré Pollard play at fly half. He's just starred in the Junior World Championships down in New Zealand, where we finished second to England. He was the man of the tournament, so he's been given a chance to start at number 10. You know, it's a perfect game to play a player like him. You know, Scotland on paper are going to be very weak, even though they haven't named their side yet. They're not going through a great patch at the moment. They're struggling to beat minnows, if you like, the USA and Canada, teams like that. So they made the whole long flight down to PE. I expect the Boks to thump them comfortably, even with this sort of B strength side, if you like. But you know, once you pull on the green and gold, you become a Springbok, and that's pretty much should be good enough to beat anyone who's in front of you. So hopefully the crowd turns up in PE. Not really a hotbed of South African rugby. We haven't played that many tests down in the PE. So you know, hopefully everyone gets out at 5 o'clock kickoff on Saturday for what should be a fantastic game.
Rob, what do you think of the changes to the team?
I think that it's still a very competent Springbok side. There's, as Garrin mentioned, quite a few players are now getting that sort of well-earned rest, I suppose. Some more by sort of accident. Of course, Beeston Tawarira might well have played as well in this game had he not got injured, which I thought was inevitable, because he's one of those guys who has been, as Garrin said, completely overplayed. So he's been taken out of the front row and been replaced by Koenie Oosthuizen, who makes his first start as a loosehead prop, which will be interesting to see, because a lot of people believe that the big Cheetahs unit should actually stay as a loosehead. Then he's not that convincing on the tight head side, but he's still got the 2 du Plessis brothers alongside him. So those guys have been sort of flogged to death, and it's going to be interesting to see whether they can still lift their games one last time for the end of the sort of June test period for the Boks. But Jen, I've got to say, I'm still confident that this team, even though it looks a little bit sort of cobbled together in the terms of they haven't really had much time to work on a lot of the combinations, but there's still plenty of ammunition in there to be able to knock over Scotland. For me, the really pleasing thing is that there are 2 guys making their starting debuts for the Boks, and they'll be partnered with really experienced players. Handré Pollard, as Garrin mentioned, is going to have a very interesting first crack at fly half, and he's been partnered at halfback with Fourie du Preez, which is absolutely perfect. Fourie du Preez, 69 caps, World Cup winner in 2007, and in the second row, Loet de Jager comes into the team. He's of course had a bit of experience off the bench already, but they say there's no substitute for actually starting a test match. That is the real test of your sort of ability, if you like. And he's partnered with the mighty Victor Matfield, who will be the Bok captain again, and 112 caps already, going on 113 this weekend. So the perfect sort of way to settle down the young players. And there's enough experience, especially if you throw in someone like Schalk Burger getting back into the starting lineup as well on the blind side flank, to feel that South Africa really are capable of winning this one. And I hope they play so well in the first half and early in the second that they've got a nice head of steam and can subdue the Scots, and then perhaps bring a few experimental rookies off the bench under not too much pressure and see how they go.